Hello Arte Laguna, I'm Kyle Yip. I'm originally from Markham, Ontario, and I'm currently working in Toronto, Canada. I would describe my experience as a part of the 17th edition of the Arte Laguna Prize as synchronistically succinct. And that's because years in advance, I had a psychic advisor predict that my art would bring me overseas to that part of Europe, and to go not in anticipation of any award, but for the photo, to bring back to help me bring my career off the ground or advance. And at the same time, in between that reading and the nomination, I had received several publications in Mohammed's Altiva 9 Contemporary Art magazine. Not only did I get to meet these panelists and curators and gallerists and art professionals, and it definitely influenced my career, if not foreshadowed it. And I would say the main one occurred in approximately November 2017, which is when I started experiencing the recursive dreams about completed and serialized artworks. At the time, leading up until that point, I was doing a lot of shadow work, dream work, and art therapy, and at the same time concurrently pursuing an interdisciplinary practice. So when I began experiencing the dreams about art, it was plain to me that what my psychic advisor had years before, which was that I was going to be recognized more as a surrealist. And what that meant was that I was going to have to realize all these artworks. When I look back on my practice and how psychology and my work have evolved over time, they have amalgamated in my unconscious, in which I was able to meticulously reverse engineer these works. So before, it was kind of a response between the two, and then it kind of became one through unison by deriving works from my psyche. So it's kind of one and the same, and effectively emerges art analysis with dream analysis for that reason. The craziest moment of my career, I would say, took place as a part of the Arte Laguna Prize experience. When I opened my crate originally, unfortunately I discovered that the more fragile part of my wall sculpture had cracked, which I had previously prepared for, which involved a collaborative effort to repair it. My partner at the time and I had to take trains and buses and various forms of transportation to go to mainland Treviso. With the help of Laura Gallen and her close friends, we were able to find a gentleman in Treviso who was able to replace that segment for us the same day. And it ended up being a very beautiful trip. We got to see the vineyards in Treviso, and it was quite breathtaking. And then upon return, it was rush hour at the time, so I remember having to bring this glass segment back during busy rush hour Venice traffic. And I just knew that if someone just crashed into my elbows or, my side, that this could easily break in my hands, and therefore my presentation and participation in the Arte Laguna Prize would have rendered void. And I was also backed by the Canada Council for the Arts. I of course didn't want to have to tell them that their investment in me and their sponsorship was futile. I like to think and thank that everyone involved in that process helped make the dream work. I don't know that I try to keep myself motivated every day, but I do try to keep myself motivated. And how I do that is through a complex confluence of support systems like psychological, physiological, and artistic practices, rituals, and regimens that maintain my mental, physical, and spiritual health and well-being. It's a bit of a convoluted answer, I know, but when we're talking about motivation, it's not just on a physical level, it's more coming from a deeply spiritual place, I would say, for myself, trying to find meaning in my work, and my work is my life, and it's very easy for me to find that meaning, but I have to remind myself why I do what I do, and it ultimately comes down to having unconditional love for life. Mostly people, but I would just say all life, and trying to find a way to honor that and honor that relationship and strengthen it. It's a great way for me to stay connected with people. It gives me an identity, which also makes it easier for me to connect with people, but at the same time, paradoxically, it's just as much about transcending that otherness and that disparateness, and just trying to connect with myself and others. For the first time, and hopefully not the last, I have the opportunity to present a wall sculpture, which again was originally envisioned during a dream at the Gladstone Hotel, or the Gladstone House, as a part of an ongoing residency. That was the original venue in which the piece presented itself to me during the dream initially. So it's going to be a very conceptual art installation in that sense. The works themselves are like portals or annexes into the collective unconscious, or my unconscious, in which I can invite viewers into the dream. But for the first time here, I'll be able to do that on a more metaphysical and metaphorical setting. Bye, Arte Laguna. Thank you so much for your time.